Hey, everybody. Welcome to IFB, Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm New York Pete with my buddy, the Tipsy Toaster. Thanks for joining us on our pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel. And just as a quick note, you guys all know that Chris and I grew up watching 70s, 80s TV, movies, animation, and we bring our unique little banter. And, this
I'm
is our
not that
show.
old.
And I know, well, I'm older than you, so
Yeah, you're ancient.
I am. And I'm proud of it, man. So, by the way, we're also big Galactica fans, and we watched the original as it aired and premiered. So, amongst the 70s and 80s stuff, and that's kind of our thing. So, welcome to the show. I know that we got a couple of our normal
Wait. You're calling them
viewers.
normal now?
Yes, I am.
I don't know
There
if
we
we call
go.
them normal.
Yeah, yeah.
They
we
watch
do.
us. I don't know if they're quite normal.
This is true because we said we wouldn't. We would do this anyway.
We don't want to
even if it was
label
just the
them.
two of us.
Don't label
No,
them
no,
normal.
not normal. No, that's right. So if you're offended by being called normal, Chris is very worried about it. So we
There's
got some
Lola.
announcements. We have a guest. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on
Her
tonight.
name was Lola.
A
She
lot of
was
good
a
stuff.
showgirl.
Oh boy, there we go. Hey,
With yellow
Lola,
feathers in her
welcome
hair.
to the show. So, hey Chris, let's get on the toast, man. I want to open this up.
Oh, you're in a hurry tonight, are you?
I'm in a hurry. Check this out.
Are you needing an alcoholic beverage this early?
Yes.
All right, we're going to switch over to Pete. So we normally have our toast, blah, 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 blah. We'll try that again. Tonight we are doing, we're going for Free Space. Free Space is a bingo beer company, and that beer company is actually local to me. Well, kind of local. It's Richmond, Virginia. So they're on Broad Street in Richmond. And this is a hazy IPA with Mosaic and Idaho 7. I actually had to look up Mosaic and Idaho 7 because I didn't know what that was. But those are two different hops. So we are going to try this out. It doesn't have a description of how it tastes. It just says it's a hazy IPA. So we'll go ahead and do that. So
Right,
we'll go
free
ahead
plug,
and
right? We
free plug.
got
Yes.
these. Actually,
this is sponsored by Chris's wallet. Well, Chris's wallet is not here right now. My wife has it. So I would bring the wallet on and say, thank you, Mr. Wallet. But once again, the wife has the wallet, so that has a problem.
I'm glad that someone has the wallet, but
I wish I had the wallet
of Chris. No, you're not allowed to have it tonight. But this is courtesy of Chris, and free plug for the guys that put this out, and we're gonna try it out tonight. So what the heck? Free space.
Free space.
You ready?
Yep. Ready. One.
Let's do it. Yeah.
2, 3.
Ooh. Oh boy.
It
Ready?
smells hoppy.
It does.
And smells like beer. Hey, we're set. Ready?
Yeah, I'm doing it. Come on. Oh, it looks good.
It's hazy. Not real dark hazy. I think last week's
almost
beer
had
was
an
a lot
accident
hazier.
there.
Look at that.
Almost. Okay.
It's a tall beer. It's not a normal 12 ounce. But I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to get drunk before the show's over.
I'm going to pass out. In the middle of the show, I will pass out. That's what's going to happen. Ready?
All right. So, everybody, thank you for joining us. It's great to be past Thanksgiving. And it's great to have you on the show. It's great to have a wonderful guest with us tonight, which I really look forward to. And you got anything else to say, Pete, there before we do this?
No, I'm just grateful that everything's come together, and the holidays are coming together, and for the fans, this is for you guys. So fans fuel the fleet.
Fans fuel the fleet. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, not bad. I like that. That's really nice. Oh, very good.
It's summerish. I don't know why I say that.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Tastes like a summery day.
It is, yeah.
Not that I've tasted many summery days.
It's the green. It's the green on it on the side. That's what you're thinking of. That's what you're tasting.
I'm tasting the free space.
The free space and the green dream.
Not to be confused with the unfree space.
Correct. It's better to be free. However, we have, let's see, we got guests, which is good. and we have some of
Well,
our.
that is good. Yes.
Oh yeah, we've had those days, haven't we?
Yes,
Hey,
we've had those
George.
days.
George's in the house. Thanks for joining, George. All our live viewers, thanks for coming on, and feel free to drop messages and any questions you may have as soon as we get our guest on. But we have a bunch of things that we're going to bring up. Don't forget, we're gonna actually cover the next chapter in the Battle of Molukai.
Ooh,
So
I
that's
left my
gonna
book
be
in the other
that.
place. I gotta go get it.
Yeah, this is good, right? This is excellent. Next chapter. It's a short chapter, but it's really really good. And Chris, you got some things in the mail.
Oh yeah, I went to I've gone England happy lately.
Yes, the
So-
Cylon Buddha sent you many
Yeah,
gifts.
So
Showered
that's the
you
reason
with
why I don't
gifts.
have my wallet with me anymore. When the wife finds out how much money you spend, that's a problem.
Yes.
So-
So the Cylon Buddha gifted you what?
Well, the Cylon Buddha, I asked for more information about the Battlestar Galactica because we're still looking for it. We will find
Yes.
it, by the way.
You will not,
Anyways.
but that's beside the point.
I got two. So I'm big in, as everybody knows, I'm kind of big into the fanzine pieces, so the fanzines out there, and like we're doing the fanzine now. But there's some fanzines I didn't have before that I really wasn't aware of, but there's some fanzines from England. And I ran across two of them, and I got both of them. They're published by there's a fan group in England called the 13th Tribe. And back in the day, they did a Battlestar Galactica fanzine, and I have two of them now. One is called, there we go, 2 from 13. And the other one is called, oops, there we go, 3 from 13. And they're pretty good size. I haven't had a chance to read them yet, but I'm excited. They're all pretty much writing. There's very few, like a lot of fanzines have good pictures in it. I didn't see a lot of pictures in these, but there's every single page is typewritten really tight, so it's a long read. It's a long read.
You're gonna have to get your other more powerful lenses out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And then
that's okay.
Then I talked to the colonial government.
Yes, and
Colonial government has granted me.
the colonial. Oh,
There we go.
no! The Tipsy Toaster's official.
I am official.
Look at that! Damn.
I can now
Tipsy
change my
Toaster.
name.
Wow.
And I'm not
trademark.
doxing myself because that's a PO box. You can send whatever
So
you can send all the money you want to that PO box.
So the Tipsy Toaster is official. You
Yep.
you own the trademark. You are so.
Now I'm off to the courthouse to change my name.
Yes. So are you going to go by the? Are you going to go by Tipsy?
Well,
Or
it's
Mr.
first, middle,
Toaster.
last. The Tipsy Toaster. So first, middle,
Okay,
last. I'm
the.
good.
Okay, the. Okay, the. I'm calling you the from now on.
That's it.
Tipsy Toaster. No more.
You will call me
Chris.
Overlord and like it.
Wow. So you are now officially the Tipsy Toaster registered
Yes.
trademark. And very good. Congratulations. That takes a while.
It
And,
does take a while. It's been almost.
Oh yeah.
It's been almost a year.
It actually
put in
took
for that.
you longer than it took us to get IFB into free
Yeah.
broadcasting. However, Mediocre Modeler says, "Cheers, guys. I am normal and regular." So
Well,
I
it's
appreciate
good to know
the
he's regular.
support.
Don't we all want to be regular at that age?
Oh, nah, the age again. Will you relax with that? Jeff Walters, man. You go, Jeff. And John McCartney, we can just call him TT. Yes, I
TT.
do that sometimes. TT. So, all right,
Actually,
Tipsy.
TTT.
TT. You stand corrected, John. It's Triple T. The Tipsy
That's it.
Toaster.
Triple T, man.
official. Triple T, baby. Yeah.
Just call me
All
Triple
right.
T.
Yeah, you Triple T. All right, calm down now. Calm down. You're gonna
Yeah.
blow a circuit. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Take it easy. All right. So is that all? Is that all the stuff that you got? I thought you had picked up a couple other items, or no? Do we have
no.
anything? Oh, you don't want to talk about it.
Not until I have a chance to get
Okay.
through it.
Okay. All right. Yes. So we do have some other things coming. There was an interesting book that the Tipsy Toaster uncovered on his conquest through Battlestar Galactica
Did some research.
memorabilia
Yeah.
in the UK. And so there's some pretty cool things that we've been overlooking. And I don't
Ask our
know.
guest if he has a copy. I bet he does.
Oh, I guarantee. I know for a fact that he does.
Yeah.
But we were, I don't know. We overlooked it because what happens is you see something online. The beauty of being on the internet now, you could see all these things, but most of the time, or many of the times, you can't look inside it. So you're like, oh, that's just another cover of something that you've kind of seen before. And then when you look inside, you're like, oh my God, I never saw this before. And that's what we had. We had one of those epiphanies a few days ago, and so the Tipsy Toaster he found something, and when he gets it, it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, and very interesting.
Yeah, I pity the fool that calls him the Triple T. You got that right, Jeff. You got that right. So we'll go over that. So we have some items that are coming in. We're working on our Christmas show, and we're going to try to do a private viewing. So we're working on that. That's all in the works, guys. But thanks for joining us. So Chris, may I call you Chris, or do I have to call you Tipsy Toaster now?
I will grant you the permission given to me by the Cylon Overlord.
By your command.
By your command.
By your command.
Wait, do I have that one? Hang on.
Yes.
Oh, that's definitely not it. I don't want that one.
My friend. You know a circuit.
Oh my God, turn that off.
You call it a blood vessel.
I know it's here somewhere. Hang on.
By your command.
There we go.
There we go. Found
I'll get that one.
God, I thought you had that tagged.
I thought I got rid of the other one.
Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble for that one. But
we played that Flash one on one episode. I played it and I said, Flash, and we got copyright strike for a whole 10-second clip.
Well, we're getting another one.
They were
that's
quick.
For sure.
Well, no, we talked over top of that one. I think we'll be okay. We let the other one just play. If you talk over top of it, maybe we'll fool the
oh boy,
colonial overlords that run the MCA takedown things on your Facebook and YouTube things. It was YouTube that caught it. Facebook didn't catch it. Facebook's pretty good. YouTube, they've got some major algorithms. I think if you actually sang it, it would probably pick it up. It was they're pretty quick with that.
Okay, so you know what?
We have John.
John has invited himself on later, so that's okay. In the meantime, I think John is here. Okay, I stand corrected. John 1 is here, and John is going to give us an update on various things that are going on in the world of entertainment and pop culture. So, without further ado,
hang on, John's off screen. I gotta fix him. Oh, hang on, he's fixing himself. He's not.
All right. Stop moving.
Hang on.
I'm getting
Stop
vertigo.
moving, John. John, stop moving.
I'm getting vertigo. Can you guys please control that? This is not a Cylon Raider out of control.
All right, John, you got to do something because the top of your head's chopped off and I can't do anything about it. There you go. Oh my gosh, John, turn off the light because it's shining off that bald spot. Just kidding. Just kidding, John. Just kidding. All right.
Because of a big head.
Okay, there we go. There's more brain power, man. It's more brain power.
I have my third brain, so that's why it's so big.
That's
right. You could be an IL series. You are on your way to being an IL series, sir. I congratulate you.
It's pushing out the hair, so that's okay. More smarts, less hair. I like to think that, but genetics.
Hey, right. I can't do much about that.
No. Oh well. All right. Hello, everyone. This is John 1 reporting for Interfleet Broadcasting. December has some good releases. The Witcher returns, Season 2, on Netflix, December 17th. Another new series on Hulu called Mother Android. It's a new series based on a world where humans live with androids and androids work for them and do things. And it deals with what happens when the androids turn against us. So,
wow, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's I was about to say that. My next word was watch Westworld and save yourself the Hulu membership. Probably going to do the same thing. The Expanse season 6 prepares on Amazon December 10th. That's a good series. Everyone should see it. It's a very good show. Christmas comes early with the release of Matrix Resurrections. Yeah. I hope Santa can give me some better minions, but we're working on that. Oh, well, very
All I want
articulate.
for Christmas, Santa, is some more minions.
Very less articulate minions right now. I'm seeing something, but it's very good with their fingers. Both in theaters and HBO Max. Watch it December 22nd. Also on HBO, see Station 11, a post-apocalyptic drama airing on December 22nd. Disney's Hawkeye Episode 3 is dropping some hints on a possible villain coming into the new MCU universe.
Wait a minute. Wait, what was that? Disney's what?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye? I don't know what the hawk
Hawkeye.
is.
Hey, whoa. Take it easy there. Calm down there, Tipsy Toaster.
Disney's Hawkeye.
He's like the
There's no
normal
other way
guy
to
from
say
the
it.
Avengers.
I thought he
Hawkeye.
was the guy from MASH, but anyways.
He's the less interesting Avenger, but the series is pretty good, except for his helper, Steinfeld. Her voice kind of annoys me, but it's going to be a good series. But off the topic, villain coming on. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin may be entering the MCU, so hopefully we'll see him on season 3. He's the only one Kingpin. He's doing pretty good, and hopefully he gets on. And there's 2 more characters, Swordsman and another character coming on, Hawkman. You guys should see it on Disney+. Also see the Korean sci-fi series, The Silent Sea, on Netflix. It takes place during a perilous 24-hour mission to the moon to retrieve samples from a base. See it December 24th. Some upcoming conventions to go if you're in the area. Emerald City Comic-Con, December 22nd to 5th, Seattle, Washington. LA Comic-Con, December 3rd through 5th. Chicago Comic-Con, that's pretty good, December 2nd to 12th. December 10th to 12th. Ocean City Comic-Con, Ocean City, Maryland, December 11th. Check out the Warhammer section. There's going to be a good Warhammer gaming. New characters, new game sets. It's all a Warhammer convention. It's going to be good. I think I reported that a couple of months ago.
When's the Ocean City one?
That's going to be December 11th in Ocean City, Maryland. And January 15th to 16th, all at Resorts World Casino, Queens, New York, will be WinterCon coming.
Yes.
I think me and Pete will be going there, doing some reporting, hopefully, and we'll check it out.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And that should be all for now, everyone. This is John 1 signing out. You guys have a good show.
All right, John. Thank you very, very much. Big Jim is in the house. Welcome, Big Jim. Thanks for tuning in. And Rob's here. Rob Baum. All right, man. Thanks for joining us. And Hawkeye. I watched the first 2 episodes. I like them. They're pretty good. I've also watched Lost in Space. So, getting into that. First episode.
I have finished Lost in Space.
You did?
Yeah, well, I've been out sick the last 3 days, so.
Oh, that's right. You have
all
a
I did
Cylon
was
virus.
I watched TV and slept, so I watched all of Lost in Space over the last 3 days. So
yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Talking about various franchises, we have in the wings. We have our guest, and we've been anxiously waiting to have him on. Rich Handley's with us, and he's worked on all, the trifecta of the big, franchises. He's done all kinds of cool stuff, all the things that we're into, actually. So, and we have some questions for him because he's worked on some really cool things that we've been, throwing around on past episodes and shows, Battlestar Galactica related. So he's covered a lot of things, and we're going to get into it. And he's here with us, and we're lucky to have him. And if you guys have questions, feel free to, send them up. Linda over in the UK is with us. Hey, guys, you old bag from UK here, not staying long is late, but you guys rock. Thank you, Linda. Thanks for tuning in. We're actually going to bring on Rich Handley right now. So if you have any questions for him, bring them up, and I will definitely post those to him or pose them to him. Hey, Rich, welcome to the show. It's IFB. Thank you for taking the time out, and we're happy to have you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I was going to say that I had Chris's wallet, but instead I'm going to say I have Triple T's wallet.
You're playing it safe, Rich. Well done. Triple T.
Oddly enough,
Absolutely.
there's no money in it.
Yeah, I wonder. Couldn't imagine why.
Yeah, after buying up all, wait till you see some of the Galactica stuff he found.
Oh,
Danger New York Pete is what Rob says. Yeah, you're right. No
Oh.
kidding. Rich. So, Rich, for the fans, you're an author and an editor. You've worked on all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, I own some of the things you've worked on, and this is one of the Realm comics, and we actually went over this. We did the whole Realm series. We went over them, and J.C. Vaughn came on, and he's going to be coming on with Mr. Kahorik, and we'll see if he can rustle up a couple of the other guys he actually worked with. And you probably know J.C. Vaughn, but we also had some of your other colleagues. Lou Tambone, we had him on, and of course, there's you. That's it's you. So we're going to talk about that. And
I recognize that book. Yeah.
Oh heck yeah! I happen to also have handy. I pulled these off the shelf, right? Comics and the Planet of the Apes. I have a question that maybe we can talk about later. And
Sure.
there you are, Rich Handley. You're involved in that as well. So I happen to have a couple of other works that you've done. So yeah, I'm all into Planet of the Apes. The Tipsy Toaster brings his own favorites to the show, and so it kind of enriches what we do and what we cover. So we overlap on some things, Rich, and some things we don't. Planet of the Apes is dear to my heart because I remember watching them. My parents took us. We went to a drive-in and we got to see Beneath the Planet of the Apes in the drive-in theater.
I
when I
wish
was
I'd been able to do that. That I didn't
So,
do. Yeah.
oh man, so
Yeah,
that
Pete's old, so he can see that kind of stuff.
yeah, I'm like, yes, I'm
Well,
like,
I
think of-
suspect I'm probably at least your age, if not older, but still. Yeah.
So I was actually 12 years old when Battlestar Galactica premiered, just to give you a sense of the scale of time.
I was 10.
No, they were just
little-
about the same age.
Yes, and Chris is about 12, I think 16 months younger,
10.
so he's the youngster.
No, I was 10 when it premiered, so I'm 2 years younger.
I don't think it's 2 years, but okay. I think it's more like 19 months younger. But who's
But
counting?
who's counting, right?
Yeah.
I think the colonial is counting.
Rich, you've worked on a lot of things, and like I said, you've done monster books, Doctor Who, Batman '66, Star Trek. As a matter of fact, you compiled the UK Star Trek for Eagle Moss, and I have
Well, for IDW, actually.
for RDW. Thank you for correcting me on that.
IDW, yeah. What had happened? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to tell you that I have it behind me. And
okay.
I want get into it because I wanted to ask you about that. So go ahead and get into it, please.
Oh, sure. I started working for the Star Trek franchise a long time ago for Star Trek Communicator magazine back in the 90s,
Wow.
late 90s, and for Larry Nemechek, who was my editor at the time. And I got into that because I'm an avid Star Trek comic collector. As you see behind me, my collection is pretty full. And in fact, I have every Star Trek comic to date from 1967 forward. And I had approached Larry because I had managed to track down the complete runs of the UK comic strips and also the US comic strips from the LA Times. And to date, I mean, that was years ago, and to date, I've never met anyone who had a complete set. I'm not saying nobody else does, because I'm sure someone will immediately go, hello, I have it. But I've just never met anyone. But it was rare enough that I thought, maybe people who reading the Communicator would like to know about these. There you go. That's one of them. And the article went over well. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll see if I could get someone to reprint this whole thing. And that turned out to take me about 15 years, I think, because there were all sorts of legal troubles. The contracts were missing or something. I'm not entirely sure what was going on, but IDW in 2000, it was either 2012 or 2013. I think it was 2012. IDW was going to be my last shot at it. And so I reached out to Chris Ryall and said, just so you know, I have 1,400 strips. The vast majority of fans have never read. And he said, well, what a weird coincidence. I've been trying to find someone who had those because I'd love to reprint them. And so that led to those 5 books. And for each of the books, they scan my collection and reprint them. There's 3 based on the UK strips, 2 based on the US strips, and then I wrote all the supplementary materials for each book, and was the associate editor under Dean Mullaney. And then by weird coincidence, years later, I started writing for and then editing Eagle Moss's Star Trek graphic novel collection. And one of the very first things I did before I was the editor of that series, I was just writing introductions. They said, are you familiar with the Star Trek newspaper strips? We'd like to have you, we're going to basically take the IDW books and reprint them for an English audience. And if you're familiar with them, we'd like you to write the introductions. And I just sort of chuckled and said, well, those are my comic strips. So yeah, I'm familiar with them. And so by weird, I mean, they had other people writing intros, but they came to me to have me write these, having no idea that these books actually reprinted the stuff. Those are them right there. In fact, yeah, that whole.
Oh,
stack.
wow.
And that was kind of how I got in at Eagle Moss, and then did that. I guess out of 150 volumes, I think I wrote just about 100 of the introductions, and I became the editor at some point. Volume 72, I think.
Wow.
And
that's
there you
fantastic.
go. That's my Star Trek. So.
Oh, heck yeah. However, Rich, that actually is a good segue into the look in magazines and Battlestar Galactica.
It is indeed. because there's a similar story there. Around the same time that I was trying to track down all those strips, I got to know a fellow collector named Alan Lane, and the two of us decided we were going to. We found out about that there were a series of British Battlestar Galactica strips as well in Look In magazine, right around 1980 or so. And Look In was a weekly magazine, just like the British magazines that had the Star Trek strips. And it took some research because nobody was discussing these things online, and I don't live in the UK, so it was a little difficult to track it all down. But I managed to eventually determine that there were 52 chapters. And I don't know how my wife hasn't left me over this, but when I find out something like that, I say, well, that's 52 things I need to own, obviously. And yet I'm still married despite that. And so I managed to eventually find those 52 issues, which turned out to be a lot of fun. They're surprisingly good stories. And then, but not long after I found out about those, yep, that's it there. Not long after I found out about those, another Battlestar Galactica fan, Peter Noble, told me, "Oh, did you know that there were also French strips?" And I went, "Oh yes. My God, it never ends." Yeah. And thankfully, that only turned out to be 28 issues. However, really hard to find. It wasn't that difficult to find the Look-In magazines via eBay. It took me a long time to find the French strips because almost nobody was discussing those online, and I don't speak French, which was a real bit of a problem.
It makes it a challenge.
It really does, or should I say, we. And which is, by the way, the extent of my knowledge of the French language. But Peter and I spent an extensive amount of time tracking these things down, and then Peter wrote about those particular strips in the book that you held up before.
Somewhere Beyond the Heavens.
That is it. And then I determined, well, I'm going to find all of these, and I did. And now, then I went on the search and said, well, look, I managed to get all of the Star Trek strips reprinted. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to get this done.
Yes.
Took me a while. I think I have, but I can't say what or what's going on yet. I can't say who, rather, or what's going on yet because it's not announced. It's not official. There's a good chance that that's coming. We'll see.
Okay, because I remember not too long ago, you had actually, this conversation had come up online, and I had actually jumped on and posted that I believe there's enough interest that if this required a Kickstarter, that I'm sure we could definitely get a Kickstarter funded project if that was part of the issue. And soon after that, what came back was basically what you just said, that it looks like there's somebody that's going to be handling this. And so...
Well, there's interest. I'm talking to somebody. I can't really say more than that in
Okay.
public, but there is interest in it. Yeah.
We have
And-
ways of making you talk.
Yes, we are definitely.
Hey, careful! I
super-
still have your wallet. So,
Oh, yes, but there's nothing but moths in it, so don't worry about that wallet. We have others.
Yeah.
But Rich, there definitely is interest, and
mhm.
this is the fans, at least our fans and the rest of the Galactica fandom is out there, and they definitely are interested, especially since this is material that nobody's seen. We're not privy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of us are not privy to the whole thing. We might have one of the look-ins or two of them. We don't have the whole set. It would be
No.
so cool to actually have it in one place.
Well, it's amazing. But the French magazine is called Tele Junior, by the way, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm saying it from an American standpoint. I don't know, but it looks like it says Tele Junior. But between that and Lookin', it comes out to 80 issues, and they're all sitting.
Wow.
Bearings here. That's them.
Oh wow!
That's the
Oh
80
boy!
right there. And before I was lining myself up to be able to do that because I knew you were going to ask. So that's them right there,
that's
sitting
so
right
cool.
next to the book. In fact, yeah.
Oh
And,
wow!
Now here's the thing. In preparation for hopefully being able to get, I have already had them translated into English. I had my cousin Julia Kessler Haller is a translator, and I had. Brianna Elkins, who's another translator. I had the two of them both translated for me, so I could make sure, since they're both fluent, that it was a solid translation. So, assuming that the plans go through, they'll be relettered in English and printed alongside the look-in print strips. We'll see what happens.
Oh, fantastic!
I'll let you
Gotta
know
keep
as
us
soon as
posted.
I have more news.
Oh, please do, because we are
Yeah, the
definitely
look-in
waiting for
strips
that.
are each 2 pages, and the Tele Junior issues are each 6. So it's 52 2-page issues and 28 6-page issues, and I'm not going to do the math, but well, whatever that comes out to, it's a solid size book.
Oh yes, well that was the follow-up. Was your
Mhm.
vision would be to have it as one volume and not multiple volumes, just like one.
Oh, well, keep in mind, I'm not the publisher, so I mean,
Okay.
whoever would be doing it, it would be up to them. But basically, what I want to do is basically do exactly what I did with the Star Trek strips, which would be to, arrange to get them republished, and then, and in the case of the French strips, translated, in English, and then,
I can read this.
and then write all the supplementary materials. I kind of have made a name for myself doing that because I did the same thing with the Marvel Planet of the Apes thing for Boom, run for Boom. So that's kind of my niche.
This
I
is
can read
awesome.
this. It says Apollo. See, there's a French word I know. And
That's not a French word,
Who
but
knew that?
Starbucks.
nice
Name of
try.
Apollo.
There's another
Phil
French
Apollo.
word I must know. I can read this. I can read this without a problem. I
Oh,
don't see what the
boy.
problem is.
Oh my God!
The
Hey,
thing about those French strips, they're really well drawn. Because I've read them all now in English, because I have through the translations, I can tell you the stories are pretty fun. They're a little off, but that's to be expected. But they're a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy the artwork on these. There's some real gems in here, and I am primarily, first and foremost, a fan. Long before I was a professional, and more than anything, I want a book sitting here reprinting these things, in hardcover and in English. As more than anything, that's what I want. I want it as a fan. I
oh,
also
heck
want
yeah.
my name attached to it, but that's the second part.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and it's two birds one stone, and it's a great positive thing that you're bringing to fruition. We're satisfying that itch that the fans have. It's bringing
Mhm.
back that classic feel of Battlestar Galactica, and it's stuff that
Mhm.
99, well, I'd say 95% of us don't have any of them, or maybe one or
Or
two
even
of them.
know existed.
Exactly. So this is a
Yeah.
beautiful
And they were
window
published
into the
around
past.
the time the show was on the air. So I mean, this is authentic to that era. There were at that point, there was no. I was going to say there's no Galactic in 1980, but actually, I guess the case of Lookin', it was published in 81, so it did exist, but it doesn't acknowledge that. In any case, that's about the only thing that existed was the Marvel series at that point. It was just Lookin' and Marvel, and so it's from the very early days of the franchise.
Which is super cool. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
Carl is with us. Hey, Carl, welcome to the show. Thanks for being on live. We're here with Rich Handley. So, yeah, Rich, you mentioned, so this is great, and our fingers are crossed, and that IFB and our fans were totally behind this project. So if there's
Great.
at any point you need to come back, please remember to this project is really dear to us, so we want to make sure we can back you up 100%. You mentioned
Great. I'll
Planet of
keep
the
that in
Apes,
mind.
You've
though.
got my wallet, so go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
The credit cards are there, not the money, but the credit cards are there.
Oh boy, that's
There's a big
power.
red X on each one. I'm not sure what that means. But, yeah.
Oh yeah. Rich, you mentioned Planet of the Apes. That's the elephant in the room. And
Well, the ape in the
I
room in any case. Yeah.
there you go. Absolutely, it could be Dr. Zaius, unknown, but we'll find out. So you've worked a tremendous amount of energy and successes with Planet of the Apes in general, the franchise itself, and some of the books. Like I held this up earlier. This is only one of that you've worked on that I personally own a bunch of your work, and so I have a question, and when
Sure.
I was a kid in the 70s, and so this is in the early 70s, I remember looking through a friend of mine, his older brother had a comic book, and it was an adaptation of Planet of the Apes. It was an adaptation of Planet of the Apes, the movie itself, black and white, and they go into the Statue of Liberty. And that's one of the things that I remember seeing when I got to look through this older brother's comic book. I remember the characters go into the Statue of Liberty, and there's like skeletons, like the remains of some of
Are you
these
sure
people.
you're not remembering Commandy and thinking that you're remembering a Planet of the Apes? Because there's only one adaptation of the original film it was done by Marvel, and that's not in there. Well, there's also a
Okay.
Japanese one in manga, but that's not in there either. You might be thinking of Commandy though, which is a
Uh-huh.
Marvel title, and it was very, very similar to Planet of the Apes. It was inspired by it, and the Statue of Liberty was part of that story. So my guess is you're remembering Commandy.
Oh man, so you solved a question that I have had
That's probably
lingering
why
in
you
my
couldn't
head.
find out what it was. Yeah, you were probably
Exactly.
looking under the wrong title. But that's my
Exactly.
guess. I haven't read Commandy in so many years that I don't know for a fact that that's it. But that's my guess, because a lot of people have noted how similar Commandy is to Planet of the Apes for the very simple reason that one was inspired by the other. And it does, in fact, involve the Statue of Liberty at one point. And so it could be that. Yeah.
Was it black and white?
Well, here's the thing. Marvel did black and white reprints of a lot of its stuff in the UK. So if you saw a UK reprint, it could have been that. But I don't know enough about Commandy to be able to say its publication history. Maybe there were black and white versions of it. I don't know. But here's the thing about memory. Memory has a habit of playing tricks on us. I mean, there are so many people who swore that they saw Luke Skywalker's friend Biggs in the movie theater back in the 70s,
Correct.
and they didn't. Right.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
or that Nelson Mandela was dead when he was alive, and so forth. So memory
Correct.
memory has a way of playing tricks on us. And as soon as you started describing it, my first thought was, I bet he's thinking of Commandy. But my second thought was to chuckle, because I've done that. Not with Commandy and Planet of the Apes, but where I've had an image in my head of something for 30 years and then talked to somebody who knew it a lot better than I did. And they immediately went, no, you're thinking of this. And I went, oh, yeah, you're right. So that's what I'm kind of thinking may have happened here.
Oh, fantastic. And no one better to go to than an expert in, the Planet of the Apes on your level. And this is fantastic. It's just blowing my mind. So I will look into this on my own. However, let's talk a little bit about that. How did you make that, the break into the field of Planet of the Apes, right? So we talked a little bit about, doing some of the other work that you did, but now Planet of the Apes. How do you get into Planet of the Apes?
Well, it actually goes back to when I was a kid. If you don't mind my doing a little segue, a little time travel.
We need the.
Yeah. I grew up in upstate New York, and there was a The 4:30 movie was a very big thing. Anyone who lived in this area back in the 70s will remember the 4:30 movie. It was a daily movie showcase at, spoiler, 4:30. And every day, so I'd come home from work, and from work, I was 10 years old. I'd come home from school and get all my homework done, and I'd watch the 4:30 movie. So they would have like Godzilla theme weeks, and they would have Charlton Heston theme weeks, and they would have, weirdly enough, Gidget theme week, which really just did not match anything else, but that was part of it. But one of the things that they did have was Planet of the Apes week, and that's how I got into this. You see, my mom was a major science fiction fan, and so a lot of the things that I'm into, I got into because she was into when I was a child. And we used to watch Planet of the Apes every year, twice a year, however often they did it. And this was in the 70s. That was how you saw it. If you were lucky to happen to catch it on TV. But as I grew up, I continued to watch the movies on VHS, and then on DVD, and then on Blu-ray. And I collected all the comics, and I read the few novels that were out there. And it just became a lifelong passion of mine. So right around 2008, I decided, well, actually, I go back a couple years before that. I had lost my job. I was unemployed, and I was going a little nuts trying to occupy my time. So I started rereading everything and rewatching everything, and created a website that which no longer exists. That was a timeline of everything in Planet of the Apes. That turned into a book, which turned into a second volume. That was that's it there actually, on top, which turned into an encyclopedia, which was the second volume. And then from there, it just sort of snowballed. Like you know how it is in publishing when you do one project, you do another, and then you kind of get known for it. And so that one that you have on there led to the other ones. And that happened sort of a fluke. If I hadn't done the website, I never would have been approached to do that book, which wouldn't have led to the other things. And it's over time I did those two, and then there were. You held up one of the books before, Comics on the Planet of the Apes. That was one of two books that I had co-edited with my friend Joe Baronato. And then the other one is called Bright Eyes Ape City. And I love that title and wish I'd come up with it, but Joe actually did. After that led to Tales from the Forbidden Zone, which was it was the first and to this date only licensed book of short fiction based on Planet of the Apes. That's it there. Nope, you just missed it. Right, one more up. There you go, right in the middle. And Jim Beard and I did that for Titan Books, which was a bunch of different short stories involving the old movies, the old TV show, and even the cartoon. And then I mentioned the 4 books that I did for Boom Studios, which reprinted the Marvel books. I mean, the Marvel comics, and I wrote all the materials for those. So one thing just sort of led to the other. I've actually helped Ed Gross update his book Planet of the Apes Revisited, although that hasn't come out yet, the updated version.
I mentioned your work on the Planet of the Apes, Tales from the Forbidden Zone, when we had Jim Beard on, and you had Dan Abnett, who is one of my favorites when it comes to the 40K Warhammer world and his writings. So that was definitely a really good story in here. So I really enjoyed
that one. Resonated with everybody. Everybody loved that one. And I'm a fan of the mutants, so I was very glad that he wrote what he did, because anything mutant, mine in fact is the other mutant related story in the book, so that tells you everything. But anything mutants related, I'm in.
Oh, fantastic. So is there anything Planet of the Apes that's been left out there? Do you think there's any more?
Well, one of the things that I'm the kind of collector who goes to bizarre lengths to track down obscurities that people don't know about, because I figure if I don't know about it, someone else might. So I'm always looking for things, and every now and then I will delude myself like an idiot into thinking I've found everything. And as soon as I say that, somebody goes, "Did you know about this?" And then I go, "I did not." It happened, but you know that's a good thing. Like I'm glad I get cocky like that now and then, because every time I do, the universe reminds me there's something I'm missing, and then the hunt begins anew.
Fantastic.
But I am sure. Yeah, so I'm sure. Like I would love to say no, I have it all because I'm a completist, but I have learned not to do that. I am sure that there is stuff I don't know about, but it's probably all unlicensed, and that's the key. I have all the licensed stuff because it's easy to find. It's easy to discover that exists. But like I found a series of 6 comics published only in Indonesia in the 80s. And I found a comic only published in Argentina. Oh, well, I found a comic only published in Argentina, and a friend of mine found 7 other comics only published in Argentina, and I now have all of these things. But I wouldn't have known about them if fans weren't saying, hey, check this weird thing out that I found. And it's all unlicensed because not every country has the same rules about licensing that we have here, which makes them harder to find because no one's really discussing them, and nobody's reprinting them because no one has a license to do so.
Interesting.
But and also the other thing is that they're not constrained by things like getting the continuity right, because they're sometimes written by people who have never seen it. But and that makes them even more fun to read.
We have a quick comment from a really big supporter of ours, Mediocre Modeler, and he said that we had the same kind of themed weeks here in Kansas. One of the best parts of my childhood. So not unique to New York. I actually grew up in Poughkeepsie, which is north of New York City.
Wait, that's where I'm from. I'm from Poughkeepsie. That's where I used to watch it.
No, I grew up in Poughkeepsie. So
how weird.
Yep.
Wait, we
South
probably
Grand
went to school
Avenue.
together. How strange
No
is
wonder
that?
you guys sound alike.
Well,
I don't know.
there is.
We'll have to talk about that. I'm wondering if we actually knew each other. We're the same age.
It's possible. Anything's possible. We'll
long-lost
talk about it.
Oh.
What school did you go to? There we go.
Did you know where the Greek Orthodox Church was? On Grand Avenue?
But well, I know where Grand Avenue is, but no, the church I don't recall.
There's only one. There was one big Greek Orthodox church, and it was next to the Jewish Center, the Jewish Temple on Grand Avenue.
Bethel?
I lived across
Temple
the
Bethel?
street. I lived across the street.
I know where the temple is. That means I knew where you lived. How weird is that?
Yep. And so, it's a small world. We'll talk a little bit afterwards if you like. I'll tell you the rest. However, Carl Kohlenschmidt says, great book in my collection, Somewhere Beyond the Heavens. Absolutely, man. There's some really good stuff out there. So Carl also asked a question. I'm going to hold off on it because since he, I want to get back to Galactica, Rich, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You had worked on Realm, and this is what briefly. However,
I only came in at the end of that. Yeah,
at the end, but that's not any reflection on your skills. You did pitch a Galactica story, and it was never published. What, if anything, can you tell us about that story?
Yeah, it was actually written too. It wasn't just pitched. So what happened was this. This was a long time ago. So I went to a
far away.
Yeah, exactly. This is long enough ago that my beard was red and there was hair here. That's how long enough ago that was. But I had gone to a convention in New York City, and Realm was still publishing. I think they might have only recently acquired the license or just started. No, that's not true. They just started publishing. They couldn't have just gotten the license because I'd read a few issues already. So they had just started publishing, and I ran into Jim Kuhorik, and young people who think that they have a lot to give the world are usually foolish and naive enough to think that experienced people want to talk to them. But that's fortuitous if you're too stupid to realize that that's not true. So because I was just naive enough to walk up and say to Jim, hey, can I write for you? I just look back and cringe when I did things like that back then. But you know what? It turned out to be a good thing, because Jim and I kept in touch afterward. To his credit, he said, maybe let's keep in touch. So what ended up happening was he started emailing me the scripts that he was writing, and I helped him edit them. The one you held up, Search for Sanctuary, was one of two, I think, that my name is in. But there was one other that my name didn't make it in, unfortunately, and I forget which one it was. In any case, so Jim said to me, "Listen, we're thinking of doing an anthology issue that's going to take a look at stories about all the various minor characters that are going to be on the show. So, we're talking about characters like Jolly or Omega, Bree, and so forth, characters who don't tend to get the spotlight." Ooh. And so I said, all right, well, he said, we don't have a title for it yet, but would you be interested in writing one? And I said, I would love to, and it should be called Minor Difficulties. And he said, okay. So without me even meaning to, I came up with the title because it was going to be problems faced by all the minor characters. So Minor Difficulties was going to, I don't know, like 5-6 stories. And mine ended up being about Jolly. The story was called A Jolly Good Fellow, and it was a spotlight on him. I scripted it. Jim really liked it. And before it got drawn, Realm lost the license. And I'll tell you something, back in the day, my friends used to joke around that I could kill licenses faster than anything, because so many times I would get in at a publisher and write something and it would never come out because the publisher would lose the license. And this was like the third or fourth time that it happened, and I was ready to cry. But yeah, so the sad thing is that my computer crashed, and I don't have that script anymore. And I checked with Jim, and he doesn't have it either. So A Jolly Good Fellow is lost in the ether.
Oh, boy. No way. What, if anything, can you give us a synopsis? Do you remember any of the story?
Yes. The idea was that Jolly ends up starts dating someone. I think she was a school teacher on the Galactica, and I had named her Dionysia. And but I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember that. I mean, talking about 20 years. So I remember that, and I remember that it involved Boxy as a child, and I did something before Richard Hatch did it in his novels, which was to acknowledge the name Troy as being Boxy's real name. And he had a young friend named Dylan. And so Dylan and Troy were going to show up in the Realm Press line long before Dynamite revisited Galactica 80. And and then Jolly saves the day, gets the girl, saves the kids. And I don't remember much more about it than that, unfortunately.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a fun story, and I enjoyed writing it.
Oh, we got a good scoop, you
Jolly
guys.
doesn't get enough credit anyways. I mean, come on.
No.
Yeah, Jolly's cool.
No, all of his scenes all came down to basically him drinking and then making fat jokes. That was so I felt, you know what, we need Jolly to really be the hero for once.
I think the best Jolly moment I can remember in the series was about eating. It was they were on the Rising Star, and he's oh man, I can't remember it off the top of my head now, but they're like at the table, and he's like, hey Jolly, calm down. It's just, oh my gosh, there's so much food.
I love Jolly. That's great.
It was a very 70s approach to that sort of character, unfortunately. I would have loved to give him something honorable to do. I wish the story had come out.
Yeah, it would be cool to have something, about Jolly and how he got to where he's at. I mean, he's a minor character, but he's still one of the lead Viper pilots on the Galactica. So, I mean, otherwise he wouldn't have him and Giles both. Giles didn't have enough. Giles was in there quite a bit. So
I just remembered something else in the story. Actually, I know that for some reason the schoolroom blew up. So it might have been terrorism, but I don't remember. I don't remember who the antagonist was here. I think it was something like that, because I remember an explosion, and I remember him saving all the children. I wish I could remember more than that.
Oh, that's a great story, man. Oh, Jolly comes through. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Oh,
but the best stories are the ones that that have been told around the campfire type thing. So
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm probably getting some details wrong too, because it's been a long time.
Hey, Rich, it's your story, man.
You can change it.
Yeah, you can change it as you go, man.
Nobody will know.
It involved dragons and Santa Claus, and
and Jolly was a cupcake, and
Yeah,
Right,
no, it
right.
wasn't.
he ate cupcakes. So
so
that's all he did.
we have a question from
Mhm.
the audience, Carl,
Okay.
and he wants to know, did Rich do any work on Aliens, Predator, and Aliens versus Predator while at Dark Horse?
Well, the short answer to that is nope. The longer answer is I didn't actually work at Dark Horse. I
Okay.
did a Star Wars comic with Darko McCann, but that was just a freelance thing of writing one story for Star Wars Tales. That's my entire involvement with Dark Horse. So sorry, I would love to have been able to say, why, yes, I did. Here are the 18 Alien versus Predator comics I did, but the answer is actually a lot shorter. No.
Uh, so Rich, tell us a little bit about Batman 66. You've been involved a couple of books, and so I'm a fan as well. And so where does that go?
Well, this is more Jim Beard's baby than mine, but basically Jim and I have collaborated. I'm making up my own words now. Jim and I collaborated a few times. Apparently, I'm the one who had the large thing of grog before, because I can't say words all of a sudden. But Jim and I had collaborated a few things, and Jim is one of the big authorities on Batman 66. And so he said, we had such a good time co-editing Tales from the Forbidden Zone. Would you help me put together these 3 books about Batman? And I said, well, I'm not an authority on that. You guys, I mean, you are, but as long as you don't mind going into this knowing that your co-editor doesn't know it as well as you, yeah, let's do it. This will be fun. So there's 3 seasons of the show, so there are 3 books. The first 2 are out, and we're working on the 3rd one now. Each one is an unusual type of episode guide. It's not your typical this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's not like that. It's more like every single episode has an essay written by a different author, and they take something unique, some unique perspective about that episode. It's not a review. It's just discussing it from a unique perspective. For one of them, the first one, I think my essay was on the theatrical film, and for the second one, my essay was on a bunch of public service announcements that were made involving the cast of Batman. Everybody else wrote the episodes. I wrote for each book. I basically have done and here's something else. So for the first one, it was the theatrical film. The second one were the Batman PSAs, and for the third one, I'll be covering the Batgirl pilot that never turned into a TV show.
Oh, that would be
Ooh.
cool.
Oh, that is awesome. That is fantastic. So I have another question then, and it has to do with writing, Rich. What
Okay.
is how do you get into the zone? Do you have a technique? A lot of our fans that watch IFB, they're writers themselves. Can you give some, input, insight on how you go about doing it?
Sure. Whenever someone says, how do I be a writer? The answer is actually a surprisingly non-complex one. And it's not in any way meant snarky. I mean this with 100% sincerity. The answer is you write. And I mean that in a non-snarky manner. What I mean by that is, for every person who says, I'm going to be a writer, there are 10,000, for every person who can say, I am a writer, there are 10,000 people who say, I will be a writer, but never write anything. So the easiest way to get into writing is to simply start writing. A lot of what you come up with at first may not be that good, and that's totally okay, because that's how your mind works through the garbage that's in the way of your writing. You get out the garbage, and then the good stuff starts coming out. If you have a passion for something,
some of us just have more garbage than others.
Yeah, well, some people publish garbage. I mean, that's true. But I like to hope that none of mine is, but I can't say that for sure. I don't know. That's for others to decide. But if you have a passion for something, write about it. Don't do it from the standpoint of will it get published, because that puts too much pressure on yourself. Start writing things. We live in a unique period for up and coming writers. When I started writing in the 90s, people weren't blogging. You had to write to magazines, you had to write to publishers. And I do miss those days in some respects, because it was very common to be able to go to a bookstore and look up 10 different science fiction magazines sitting on the stands. And it's not like that anymore. But the flip side to losing that was that there are so many online opportunities for people to write. So if you want to write, start a blog, get your name out there, network. And more importantly, just keep writing, because if you write 10 things and only 2 of them are worth anyone seeing, show those 2 things. Now you have 2 things that are worth writing. The more you write, the better you get at it. I hope I didn't
Fantastic.
go off the trail of your question.
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all. This is exactly
also,
what.
A lot. Reading and writing are connected. So, read, you get better at writing, because you see what you think is good writing and what you think is garbage, and you learn not to write like the garbage and to emulate the ones that you do like.
Outstanding. So Rich, we could go on for days. You've done a lot of cool stuff. However, we do have to bring up any of your current works that that are either out or coming out that you want to actually emphasize. We want to give you a chance to bring that stuff up. And so what do we have in the wings, or anything that's out now? And the holidays are up, so this is a good opportunity.
First of all, I haven't scrolled through my gallery on the website in a while, so that was kind of fun to watch all those covers go up. I should look at that more often. But second of all, the big one right now is the Stargate book, which I'm my friend Joe Dilworth and I are co-editing for CH4. I think it's my 11th book for CH4, but it could be the 10th. I don't remember if this is the 11th or the next one. But in any case, I think this is the 11th. It's a look at the Stargate franchise, the film, the TV shows, the animated series, the web series, the books, the comics, and discussions about things like well, actually, I don't want to say what, because the book is not out yet, but different themes, different characters, different trends. It's very similar to the other books I've done for CH4. That'll be out in sometime early in 2022. I continue to write a lot of books. Well, I don't write a lot. Okay, I just overstated it. I continue to write essays for a lot of books for ATB Publishing. There's a series they have called Outside In, and if you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of them. And you're almost there, and you're still almost there. Almost there.
Oh boy, yeah, your site's got a lot of cool stuff.
Almost reached it. There we go. Okay, these books are published by ATB Publishing. The editor is Stacy Smith, and each of these, well, they're similar to what I described with Jim's Batman books, but they're really unique, because if a show has 176 episodes, there will be 176 1,000 word essays. And so I've been writing for each of these volumes about Star Trek, about Doctor Who, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The X-Files, what am I missing? Twin Peaks, couple Babylon 5 is not out yet. So there's a bunch of different ones. Yeah, Firefly. I didn't write about that, but I am in that book about something else.
Wow. Wow, that's super cool.
Those I've been doing. And then every week I write a column for Hero Collector. Hero Collector is the website of Eagle Moss. And as I'd mentioned, I was the editor of the Star Trek graphic novel collection before that series sadly ended. By the way, I loved that gig. I was so bummed when that series of books ended. That was fun, genuinely fun to do. And as a lifelong Star Trek comic reader, to be able to be involved with an official Star Trek comic project was amazing. I wish it were still going on, but I am still connected because their website is called Hero Collector, and I write a weekly column about Star Trek comics for Hero Collector that's been running for, I guess it would be 116 weeks, because I think the most recent one was a number 116. And then there are a few other things that I'm working on. Oh yeah, that one thing you have right there. I wrote for Modiphius's role playing game. I wrote a small piece of text for that book, the Shackleton Expanse. That's either out now or about to come out.
Outstanding. Oh my God, that's so cool.
And there are a few things I can't mention, but
Like I said
Pete will
before,
know
we
about
have
it when the
ways
time
of
comes.
making you talk. And you have my wallet.
And
So,
I
by the
have
way.
your wallet. So,
Yeah. So, Rich, you gotta hope you're our kind of guy, and we've only scratched the surface, and you got a lot of very very cool projects, and our fans span the gamut. They're into all the stuff that we've talked about, and then some. We have a special place in our heart for the original Battlestar Galactica, of course. That's what kind of brought this show about, and that's what brought Chris and I have become best friends out of that connection. And we bring our 70s and 80s TV and movies, and you're personifying and writing about all that stuff, so you're definitely one of our go-to guys, and I have a lot of your books that I've been reading over the years, and so we
Thank you.
definitely need to let you know that we're here for you, and we would definitely like to have you come back. And
Oh, I'd love to anytime you want.
as your material comes out, as you're writing, publishing, whatever the case may be, if you have an appearance, we didn't talk about conventions. I don't know if you do any convention stuff, but if you do, you got to let us know.
Okay, I haven't done a convention in several years. Not to bring things to a down note, but the person that I used to share a table with passed away, and I haven't gone away. I haven't done another one since then, but at some point I'll start probably going back.
Okay, because sometimes we J.C. Vaughn was our last guest, and he'd mentioned that depending on the venue, depending on where it is, sometimes it's in his best interest, and I would imagine it applies to just about everybody, that the time dedicated in going to a con is sometimes better served writing. And that's kind of like his philosophy now that he's gotten into the business where he's at. And I didn't know if you were going to basically kind of say that as well. But yeah, we want to know, man, if you're out there, I'm going to bring stuff to get autographed. I would definitely like to
I'd love to
that's
meet in person. Absolutely.
oh
I just
yeah.
I haven't been able to go back, just because the person I shared a table with was my best friend, and he passed away.
Understood.
Yeah, and so
Absolutely.
that was a shared experience. It's tough for me to do it, but at some point I will.
Oh, great. Well, like I
Yeah.
said, Rich, we are honored to have you. You are an accomplished aficionado of all the things that we love very much. You're
Listen,
a
man, my
fan.
head is already way too big, so let's not get this head any bigger. I already can't
That's
wear
okay.
a hat.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? We can we'll take that into consideration for the subsequent visits that you make. But at least on this one, you need to know that we have a very special place in an appreciation for not only individuals that are professionals in their fields that deal with the genre and all the pop entertainment and the pop culture and sci-fi and the like, but you're a fan, right? So you're not just a pro, you're a fan, and that makes it even more special because we've interviewed over 60 different individuals, and we love all of them. We just love the fans that are in the business just a little bit more, and you're one of them. So thank you very very much, Rich. I know that Chris is going to have a couple of last words as well about
Mhm.
your guest spot here. And like I said, you're always welcome. We definitely want you to come back. And there's way more guys, way more to talk about with Rich and other projects. So thank you so much for taking the time out. And it's
Thank
the
you.
year
This
itself
was
is
a lot of
winding
fun.
down. So yes, it absolutely, definitely a lot of fun and holidays. We have Hanukkah and Christmas and New Year's and all the good stuff happening. So thank you for taking the time out, Chris. Any last word? I'm gonna look over and see the chat while you
Well, my
bring
last
up
words
any.
are my biggest problem is I need to buy a lot of books. I love the class. I want to read the classic UK. I was just looking these over. I was like, I haven't done this one yet, so I'm like, yeah, I'm glad he's got my wallet right now.
Those UK strips are great. They're awful. That's why they're great. And I say that very, very fondly because only a crazy person would spend money to track down 256 issues of a comic he didn't enjoy. So I do enjoy them. Those strips were written and drawn by people who had never seen Star Trek
Yeah,
because it hadn't
yeah,
aired in the United Kingdom. And they're remarkable. They're like an alternate. Thankfully, Star Trek's a multiverse, so this is an alternate universe where crazy things happen. But they're really it's amazing. It's a licensed part of the universe where Star Trek is nothing like you'd expect it to be, and the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. And if you can still find those 3 books, get them. And I don't make any royalties on those books, so I'm not plugging it for my own use. Just read them because they're fun.
Yeah, they're out of
I
print,
have
right?
I have the second one. I have the second one. I stumbled on it and I picked it up, and no regrets. So it is a lot of fun. It reminds me a little bit of the Gold Key comics.
It's the same era and has some of the same issues, just like Alberto Giolotti hadn't seen Star Trek when he when he drew Gold Key. So yeah, part of the same exact reason. One of the reasons why they're just so fun is it's a unique look at basically British science fiction from that era, because the people who were making those strips were making science fiction comic strips in Britain in the late 60s, early 70s, and not having seen Star Trek, they instead wrote Thunderbirds as Star Trek, and
Right.
so forth, or 90s, or like that sort of thing, and that made it a whole lot of fun. So if you can go into it with the mindset of, okay, well, Captain Kirk's name is occasionally going to be Kurt, and Uhura's name is occasionally going to be Uhuru, and David Bailey from the Corbinite Maneuver is going to be in almost every story because they had photo stills from that one episode as reference materials. And people say things like great galaxies," when they're excited. So if you can go into it accepting that this is Star Trek, you really will enjoy the strips.
Absolutely. Rich, thank you so much. We had a really, really good time. Great sense of humor and, our type of guy. So like I said,
Thank you.
we will be reaching out to you. I'm going to reach out to you privately and we'll have a little side conversation about our days in Poughkeepsie. And
yeah, absolutely. I can't believe we're the same age and from the same town. Like, if we sat next to each other in Mrs. Bell's class in 2nd grade, I will cry that I didn't realize it. Yeah.
I got some bombs for you. Don't worry. You're gonna be like,
Okay.
what? I'll be like, yeah. So we've crossed paths. Anyway, thank you again, Rich. Rich Handley,
Thank you.
author, editor, doing all the great things that we love. Great guy and a fan as well. Thanks for taking the time out, and we're gonna have you back in the
Thanks for
new
having me.
year. We're gonna
Yeah.
definitely reach out. So thanks again, and stay safe, stay well, and have a great holiday.
You too.
You know what? And this one's to Mr. Rich Handley.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show.
You created the
And
fandom for
I'll
us to
ship
like.
Chris's wallet.
All right. Yes,
Just
perfect.
ship it to my wife. That's the only person who really wants it. Anyways,
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, Rich. Take care.
Bye.
Oh boy, man, that's fantastic. We love having all of our guests are all cherished guests, and we love the beauty of what they bring to the show is the knowledge, the insight, the backstories, and every so often when you get somebody that's on our level because they're fans like we are of any particular thing that we're into as well, it just kicks it up into a whole other level of geekdom. So we're geeking out. I know that I am, and I know Chris is, even though it's internalized because he's a Cylon and he's the tipsy toaster. But
the amount of
cool.
the amount of research I've ran across Mr. Handley a couple times on Facebook in regards to, I posted a picture with all of the Battlestar Galactica comic books I had, and I had some other ones set up behind there. And the first question I got was, the comics you have back there, did they have anything in Battlestar Galactica? Have anything to do with Battlestar Galactica? I'm like, nope, they were just back there. It was I think it was X-Files. I had won a couple of my X-File. I had won an auction or something and had some rare X-File ones back in the background. He's like, do they have Battlestar Galactica stuff in there? I need to know. He was over there in the corner going, I think I got some Battlestar.
I got to tell you, Carl says, look in his wallet. I bet there is a coupon for a free dinner at Sizzler. Yeah. Oh boy.
And my Blockbuster card.
Yeah, I still have mine. Mediocre Modeler, Rich was great. Yes, he was. And John McCartney, great interview, 100% great interview. And it's kind of freaky that we come from the same city in upstate New York. Well, we call it upstate New York, but anyway, it's north of New York City. That's where I grew up. And it happens to be the place that Rich grew up too. So
yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
If he hangs on, you guys can talk at the end of this broadcast.
I guess so.
I think
anyway, today, not only are we going to talk about the Battle of Molukai, but we actually have, we have Tiny Bean Tara is also going to come on and give us a background on some of the shows. So not only do we have John 1 from our crew, we're actually going to get Tara to come on. So Tara is ready in the green room. And I don't mean the fact that her room is green.
It actually is green.
It actually is green. So Tara, if I think you're ready, is she ready to come on and give us an update? Yeah. All right, cool. So I think Tara, you're coming on. Give us what you got. Come on.
Hey guys, great to be here. Wow, that was just amazing, and I don't know how I'm gonna follow that. What an amazing interview. Mr. Handley is just wonderful. Can we have him on all the time, Pete?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, right? Imagine.
It'd be a regular part of the show.
Oh my God. So cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
But so here we are. Happy post-Thanksgiving. Welcome to the holiday season. Now, I spent part of my Thanksgiving sitting with my old friend, a stuffed gorilla about yay high, and his name is Mr. Joseph Young. Now,
I'm sure
this is confusing for some, so let me backtrack. Yep. When I was growing up in Queens in the 70s and 80s, WPIX Channel 11 would show the old school monster movies on Thanksgiving every year. Now, I know my brother Jeff is out there, and I know he can back me up on this, right, Jeff? All right, so King Kong, Godzilla, and my favorite, Mighty Joe Young. Now, I loved him so much that my parents got me my very own stuffed version of Joe, and he's been with me ever since. Wow. So I just wanted to take a moment and do a little spotlight on the special effects genius behind so many of our childhood favorites, Ray Harryhausen. Now, this wonderful man pioneered things like split screen, animatronics, and stop motion, and he brought us, in addition to Joe, films like Jason and the Argonauts, and the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, and even the 1981 version of Clash of the Titans. Remember the cool creatures in that?
Yeah, that was a good.
That was so awesome, right? I just love the look of his stuff. It's very unique and easy to spot. And he's also known to have greatly influenced George Lucas, among others, and that helped to bring a lot of sci-fi and fantasy ideas to the big and small screens because of him. So just wanted to take a moment to say I think of him every Thanksgiving, and thank you, good sir. We honor your vision. Now, buckle up, friends. It is the holiday season, and that means December is chock full of stuff to keep your eyes on in the streaming world that we've been following here in Tiny Bean's Corner. Dates have dropped for a number of things, but let's start with the bad news. I'm hearing Stranger Things 4 won't hit till next summer. And I know we were thinking it was going to be a lot sooner than that, but that's the latest I've got on that. Stay tuned, anything can happen. And there's still no date for the new Sandman adaptation, so I will continue to hold my breath for that one. But in the meantime, there is plenty of good stuff still that we've been following and talking about. Now, the third and final season of Lost in Space just hit Netflix yesterday. Haven't seen it yet, so don't say anything. HBO Max.
I watched the whole thing. I'm going to spoil it for you. They all die.
No, don't do that. No.
The Cylons take over and they all die.
Oh boy, shut you down, will you? Oh my God.
But really looking forward to that. If you guys need to catch up on the first couple of seasons, please do. It is a really, really good show. I really enjoy it. HBO Max fans can catch Station 11 that we talked about a few weeks ago. That's going to start on December 16th. And of course, Matrix Resurrection on December 22nd. I also hear that they are offering a 1-month free trial if you go through Roku as your system. So now would be a great month to try it, right? I mean, and Dune is still on there. Hello, you can watch a lot of good stuff, so give it a shot. Disney Plus is also bringing up the Mandalorian spinoff, The Book of Boba Fett. It's going to be on December 29th. Mark your calendar. And Amazon Prime Video is bringing us season 6 of The Expanse, hitting on December 10th on that one. Now, my biggest streaming, keep your eyes on it project is a film called Encounter. It's an original Amazon Prime movie. It's going to hit theaters tomorrow, and it's going to start streaming on the 10th. The film stars one of my favorite actors from the last 5 years, Academy Award nominee Riz Ahmed. He was nominated for the film Sound of Metal, where he plays a drummer who's losing his hearing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. He's really good, right? Now, I first saw him back in 2016 in HBO, did a miniseries called The Night Of with John Turturro. But it was this young man that stole the show. He was just amazing. Remember, we were talking about Tom Hanks a couple of weeks ago and say how he's just, the embodiment of sincerity when he plays a role and how he acts profoundly with his eyes. This kid has a touch of that. Just watch him and tell me what you think. But in any event, he also played Bodhi Rook in my favorite Star Wars spinoff, Rogue One. And he has a host of other credits piling up. But now, Encounter. This is a sci-fi psychological thriller. I think it will appeal to, our base. The details are sparse, as they should be, but from what you can gather from the trailer, he plays a military man, a father of 2 young boys, suddenly reacting to something? Alien, maybe? Or... I don't know. And now if anyone can sell it, right, it could be a Cylon invasion. Exactly. See, now you're thinking.
All right, stop.
Now, this guy can sell it. If anybody can do it, he can. The trailer also hit for me a few notes reminiscent of Frailty. Anyone remember Frailty? From the late, great Bill Paxton?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I will link the trailer for Encounter in the blog, so check it out and definitely check it when it hits on the 10th. Now, let's talk some recent reviews. I finally got around to seeing Netflix Army of Thieves, the first in the promised world of Zack Snyder films centered around the ludicrously funny Army of the Dead. Remember that? Dave Bautista and his friends and zombies. Yeah. Oh, God, that was so much fun. But anyway, remember the safecracker, the funny foreign guy, Ludwig Dieter? Well, this film is his prequel story. Now, did we need a prequel story for him? Of course not. But now, having seen it, I'm going to say it is a resounding yes. This film is charming and fun. it sets up how he winds up with the group in Vegas, and it completely ups the stakes involved there. Put it this way, as soon as I finished watching that, I went back and watched Army of the Dead again, because it was just, I have to see it again now. And it really makes so many things click into place once you see it. It's fun. I laughed, I cheered, you sit and you toss back your popcorn. It's that kind of film. Special shout out to my girl, Natalie Emmanuel. You may remember her as Missandei in Game of Thrones. Well, she is the co-star of this, and she is delightful. And she has one completely kick-ass fight scene that will make you cheer. So check your brain at the door, sit back, and enjoy Army of Thieves. And now, the one I have been waiting for, Wheel of Time. It's good.
Oh, it's
It
not.
I
is.
started.
It's good.
I
I watched it. I thought it was the
But-
slowest thing I've ever watched.
Yes.
Oh
and
my God.
Let me tell you, the
Ah.
word that comes to mind is bland.
I was thinking
And it's
boring.
just the best word I could come up with. I mean, I wouldn't go quite so far. Yeah, it's awkward. There's some awkward and slow dialogue sections, especially in the first episode. But it is counted with some really fine acting. There's some really good special effects. There's some great storytelling. It's not sticking to the letter of the books as to be expected. But as anticipated, it is still being quite reverent to the source material. It's clear from the get-go that this is not Game of Thrones. It is not going to be Game of
No.
Thrones.
It's not.
It-
Right.
It's not what they're doing. It is,
Right.
for example, like the full level of gratuitous sex and violence from Game of Thrones is not here. But that
That's
doesn't
why this
mean
is
that it's
boring. Now I know why.
Stop it. Did you watch beyond the first episode? I mean,
No,
there's
I
some
watched.
really...
I watched all the episodes that are available because
Okay.
I've been out sick. So
Oh,
so
Maybe it's the fever that's
I
blocking your
hope
brain
so,
from
because
working.
it was definitely boring.
no. It's.
What are you
I mean,
talking-
there's
there was a-
still there's
There was
still
a great fight
shots.
scene.
There's still violence.
Oh,
There's
so you get
great
one great
scenes.
fight scene?
Oh boy. All right.
I'm telling you though, I'm sticking with this. I really am. I am enjoying it, even though I'm saying it's bland. I'm giving you a false
Yeah, I
idea
thought
here.
I
do
thought
enjoy it.
Sweet was it Sweet Tooth?
Oh, I love
Sweet Tooth was very bland the first couple episodes too. So I'm hoping it picks up, but I'm it's a challenge at this point to watch for me.
Yeah, it's like I wanted this to be the show that I was rushing home to watch another episode of, and like, oh no, wait, I don't want to binge the whole thing now, and like, oh, is the new one out yet? And it's just, it's not quite there, but it might be. So I'm staying tuned, and I'm gonna suggest that you guys stay on this with me, and we can talk further about it in the future.
And we can make fun of it later. Okay,
We can make
sounds
fun
good to
of
me.
it.
Yes,
later.
that's possible. That's possible.
We always need a show to make fun of, like Galactica 1980. So
It's bringing up a lot of I don't know, it's bringing up a lot of ideas for me, because I'm trying to pinpoint what exactly it is that's missing here, because it has a great cast, it has a great director, it's got a good script, and I'm like, what's missing that's making it not at that level that we want to go, oh, what's next? There are a few moments, and Pete, I know you can back me up on this. There are a few moments, there are a few scenes that are
Oh, yeah.
really, really good and really exciting and well done. And then you get kind of mired back down in a little awkwardness and a little blandness. I didn't say boring, Chris. I said bland.
There's some backstories I want to know. There's some stories there that we want to, and there's the adventure of it, and so we're going
Mhm.
along. I'm in. I'm gonna watch. I'm watching. Chris, you need to take some penicillin or antibiotics, and you will be okay. Your fever will go away. You
I
were
have
tested,
a fever,
right?
and the only cure for this fever is
Is
to change
More
the channel.
cowbell.
More cowbell, man.
To change the channel. That's the cure for the Wheel of Time fever.
Oh boy. All right. All
Well,
right.
that's all I got in the corner this week, guys. So.
Well, by the way, Karen says hi, guys, and hi, Tara. Wink, wink.
She's very, very well acquainted with Joe, by the way, my gorilla.
Yes,
funny enough.
yeah, that's for sure.
Her and Joe are
Don't
like
go
that.
there, Chris. Razor Ramon says, "Don't go there, Chris," and I'm agreeing with that. So, by the way, Jeff Walter says, "I'm with Triple T. It was so slow and hard to get into." Okay, hey, it is what it is. Or Buck Rogers season 2. Now you're talking my speed. Absolutely, call Buck Rogers season 2, man. Whew, man, no way, no, not that good. So
I might actually consider watching Galactica 1980 over watching Wheel of Time.
Well, speaking of that,
Oh,
no.
that is a bold statement.
Oh, come
Yep,
on,
yep.
man.
I think I might do that.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, I'm not big into
Relax.
fantasy to begin with, so
Okay.
It's a
This
little
was,
Tolkien.
this was tough.
This a little. Come on, man. All right. That's
Pete and
well,
you and I will stay on this one.
Well, yes, I'm watching. All right,
Good,
Tara,
thank
thank you
you.
so much for coming on.
Yeah.
We appreciate it and hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Holidays are coming up. We were going to have our Christmas special coming up in a couple of weeks, and hopefully, we're going to make up some more stuff to talk about, since there's, from now till a couple of weeks, there'll be a couple more episodes we can follow up on.
Excellent. Sounds good, guys. Thanks. Great seeing you all.
great seeing you.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Thank you.
Night, guys.
All right. So,
Right.
Chris, hope it picks up, says Jeff. I think so too. John's, thanks, Tara. Yep. And you are a great man, Chris. Ha ha ha. Razor Ramon says. I don't know about man. I think he's more of a Cylon or a robot.
I think that's for the Galactica 1980 reference.
Okay, so by the way, George says, spoken like a true Cylon. Yes, absolutely, spoken like a true Cylon. The Triple T fever, that was because he got the trademark. That's what happened. He got the fever. Yeah, I think so too.
Fever for the flavor of another channel.
Carl, to be fair, writes Mediocre Modeler, Hawk was great, and without season 2, we wouldn't have him. I could call season 2 of Buck Rogers the Love Boat season. Yeah, I agree, Mediocre Modeler. I definitely agree. All right, so it's to be seen. It's to be seen, and we'll
not
figure.
seen.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm gonna keep up. I'm definitely gonna keep up. So
I always like a good train wreck. It's like watching NASCAR. You're always watching for the crash, anyway. So you can watch the. That's why I made it to Galactica 1980 the first time, probably. So
you're beat tonight. Well, speaking of 1980, we are still exploring the concept of having a private screening.
Yes.
So we're still working on that.
Don't let YouTube or Facebook find out.
No.
It will not be on Facebook or YouTube. It'll have to be on something else.
Yeah, it will be on something else. It's just it's a private get together, and we will be talking about something we're watching on our personal TVs all at the same time. How about that?
Yeah. Sorry, I had something in my eye.
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to be, we're thinking of watching Galactica 1980, the first episode, and having some fun with that. So we're working on it, guys. That's possible. It's a possible. And Trainwreck Thursdays. No, that's not that's happening, George, but that's funny and nonetheless.
Well, we used to do bad movie weekends. So every one weekend a month we would have a bad movie weekend where I worked at last time. And
oh boy,
we watched great movies like Tire or Rubber. I'm sorry, Rubber was.
Oh man, you made me watch some of that. That's horrible. That's horrible. I can't.
And of course, the great movie that you have to go see, Zombievers. Nothing like zombie beavers.
Oh my God, yeah, that was another.
And it had a catchy tune, though. I can still get the Zombievers.
You can take your eyes out. Those are the things that cannot be unseen. Once you see them, it's just that bad. I don't know where they got the money to make any of those, but hey, it is what it is. Throw Venom 2 into the Trainwreck Thursdays. Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Something about Super Scouts, microwave Cylons, and flying motorcycles. Yeah, you know what? That brings back some very strange memories of watching it only once. Only once. Yeah, live on TV once, and that was it. But we still have the Battle of Molukai,
Yes.
and so let's do it, man.
All right.
The
Well,
Battle of
let's sum
Molukai,
up
guys.
last couple of chapters.
Yes, so
So-
this is a fan zine, a fan fiction novel that was written by Lee Gold and Sharon Monroe. And if anybody knows where any of these two are, we've been searching to get them on the show. We would love to talk to them. And so I have not read this before now. And so I'm reading along every week. I'm reading a chapter. Chris has read this a couple of times, but Chris, definitely worth the read, man.
Oh yeah.
Definitely worth it. There's a great backstory to the Pegasus, the Fifth Fleet, and what happens to, right? So this takes place a year before the premiere of Battlestar Galactica in the timeline. And it gives you the backstory on how Bojay ends up on the Pegasus, and what's Molokai, and who was in the Fifth Fleet, and it also brings into play the conspiracy of Baltar and Charybdis, which is fantastic, and it's just really well written. And so there's subplots in here, and they're running through this, and it's really good. I am pleasantly surprised. You don't know sometimes what to expect with fan fiction, but Sharon Monroe is a very well known and established writer in this world, and so is Lee Gall. He's done some really good stuff. I've read some of the other things they've done, but this one's good. So chapter 4, obviously it continues on this story of there's 3 battle stars in the Fifth Fleet. There is Olympus, there's the Britannica, and the flagship is the Pegasus. But there's been some possible sabotage, and there's been an explosion on the Pegasus, and so the Pegasus is hanging back. And in the midst of all of that, they find an escape pod or a ship, and they identify it as a Hasari ship, and there's somebody on board. And so they bring that ship onto the Pegasus, and they're going to try to help save the life of a Hasari that's on it. And there's Viper pilots from the other 2 battle stars that were out on patrol, and they encountered this Hasari ship because the Pegasus is still waiting to catch up. So as the Pegasus catches up, these Viper scouts are out. They encounter the Hasari ship, and they bring it onto the Pegasus. Meanwhile, the fleet is making its way to Molokai, and it's a planet right on the fringes of colonial space. And this is a secret mission, and obviously we're getting to see Kane and Sheba's in this, and that's the focus. But we're also being introduced to the other battle stars, right? The Olympus and the Britannica, and some of their pilots and their commanders, and it's the living legend, right? It's Kane, and the characters are well captured, right? I mentioned this last time. You read authors that write about whatever franchise and characters, and sometimes they don't get it right, and then I've put down many a book. And I got to tell you, a lot of the Star Trek books that are out there, the novels, the writers don't capture the true essence or spirit of the characters. And I've stopped reading many a book. And the flip side is going on here, where the dialogue that comes out of these characters' mouths, to me, it works. It sounds like them.
Yeah.
And I think, right, Chris?
Yeah, they capture Kane and
Sheba?
Sheba really, really well.
Yeah. And that sells it, because
Mhm.
the rest of the characters we don't really know. We know them.
Well,
and
yeah, they're
so,
new. So we get some new characters in here.
Yeah, we get a
Pilots
bunch of
from
new
the
characters.
Britannica.
Yeah.
And
the Olympus.
Olympus. So the last chapter left off that Sheba was taking the two guys to the
Officers
officers mess.
Yeah. Or club.
Mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course they're
So,
attracted to her, of course.
well, of
Actually,
course.
so
I mean,
we
come
get
on.
so the very first illustration we get out of the book is, hang on,
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, this is the Officers Club. And it sure looks like they're partying there, huh?
Are you sure that's not the briefing, Chris?
That's the briefing. You're right. You're right. That's the briefing.
I think it's the Kane's briefing before he dismisses everybody, because
Right.
he wants to find out
Talk
what's
about
really
the
going on.
Hasari
Yeah, the
ship.
Hasari and the possible conspiracy. So they translate in this episode. They actually translate the ship's records that are found in this little ship. It's almost like an escape pod, and the pilot is able to mumble something, and they recorded it, and so they just have it translated. And your friends, the Cylons, are definitely involved.
Yeah, they make the determination that the Hasari ship was attacked by Cylons, and giving that information, they know that the Cylons are very close to the place where they're going, the Molukai.
Yes. And so in the chapter now, so now I guess Chris, we might as well just get totally into it. So Commander Kane, of course, is, we all know who he is, and you know how he acts, and he's spot on in terms of the representation, in my opinion, here in the chapter. And so he's calling, he calls a briefing, and he gets all the characters involved here that were around, and he wants to know, so what's going on. And so he's focused on fixing up the ship, because there was obviously an explosion, right, that happened
Right.
way back when we first started. And so the ship is being repaired, and it's getting ready to catch up to the fleet. Meanwhile, on some of the other battle stars, they're uncovering that there's explosives, and they've never seen these types of explosives before, and now they're worried about, how deep is there a conspiracy or sabotage going on in their battle stars. Who placed these explosives, how many are there, and they're on this mission to Molukai. And so everybody's like losing their minds. And so the commanders from the other battle stars are now sharing information, and now they're going to be doing a search throughout the battle stars to make sure that there aren't any more undetected explosives, because the way they were placed, or where they were placed, it could come out as if there's an attack, it could have been, well, subsequent to the attack, this is another, ancillary explosion. And so it could have been covered up. So now they're thinking, man, there might be more to this. And is this linked to the explosion that went off in the Pegasus that they're just recovering from?
Right.
So that's what's coming out, right? And they're working it really, really well, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, they're talking about they've already, I guess, the word from the Olympus is Leaf and Trent stiffened, instantly alert. They found another bomb in their solium storage chamber. So they put the bombs in the most explosive part of the ship. Imagine that. Who could have done such a dastardly deed? Cylon sympathizers. Charybdis, maybe? But I don't think he did. So in the other previous chapter, they talked about how that Baltar was doing these surprise inspections. Count Baltar was doing these surprise inspections because he helped fund some of the fleet things and everything else. And now they're finding all these explosives, and you can only link that up to a Baltar type thing, because Baltar's trying to make this fleet go away, because he's kind of got other interests in the Hasari type thing going on. Oop.
Yes. So that's what's going on. It's not a long chapter. It's actually a short
it's
chapter.
really kind of short.
Yeah, it
we're
is
pretty
kind of
much
short.
almost the end of it now.
Yeah. So the other Battlestars are scrambling. They got the Hisari. Hisari is telling them there was a Cylon attack, and now they're going to figure out. They want to figure out whether or not this lone ship that they found did they survive a Cylon attack? Are they left over from the Hisaris that are now gone, and
Right.
this is like a lone an anomaly?
I did pick up I just wanted to jump back real quick. Did you get the description? The woman is definitely Hisari. She's original human stock. She has dark hair, pale skin, and six-fingered hands among six-fingered hands among them. From her collector, she's a warrior from all the tattoos.
Yes.
And that donates her a caste among them. I believe the tattoo on her forehead says it's motherhood. So, I mean, that was I felt that was kind of cool that they gave a really cool description of this race that we've heard of in the original Battlestar Galactica, because Adama says we wouldn't have gotten into this battle if it wouldn't have helped the Hisaris.
Right. And the Hisaris got wiped out.
Yeah.
So now in the chapter, basically, Chris, right? Is she coming from Molukai? Because if she's coming from Molukai,
yes, she's coming from Molukai. Yeah. So there's a sect that was secreted there, I guess.
So, but the problem now is that if she is coming from Molukai, it seems like she may have been attacked by the Cylons.
Right.
So
they see the marks on the ship saying it looks like a Cylon, and that's why the other one's like, hey, we need to get back to our ships. If the Cylons have attacked this ship, then we need to get back to the major. Tells Kane, hey, we need to get back to our ship. Meanwhile, when they say that, that's when they go, oh, by the way, we just had an alert from the Olympus. They found explosives on board. So we wonder
dun, dun, dun.
if this is what happens to the Fifth Fleet. Do they blow up? How did they get defeated? This is always the story in Battlestar Galactica that the Pegasus was lost at the Battle of Molukai. So is this the battle? Is it sabotage? What is it?
We're gonna find out, and so more. Stay tuned for the next chapter in the Battle of Molukai. It's fan fiction, but it's really good fan fiction. It's worthy. A lot of us have heard of it in the Galactica circles. And I've told you guys many times before that myself, I was always trying to track down, like magazines that featured Galactica. So that was my primary focus. Going to conventions from like 1977 on, as Galactica was on, as Galactica had passed, I had always skipped over these things, unfortunately. And now over the last few years, and, especially with, Chris's collecting and vast the knowledge of, I started getting into these, and I'm starting off with a lot of the best of the best, and this is one of them. So we're sharing it with you guys, and I hope you're enjoying it. If you want to read along, there's PDFs of these free, floating around. If you Google it, you'll find Battle of Molukai, and you can read it as well, and highly recommend. So tonight we wanted to actually hold something for the end of the show on purpose, and we have another premiere. It's a short, and it's from an award-winning author, Dorian Keyes, and he's had other works and short videos, movies that premiere his work in a video fashion, right? So it's sort of like a promo video for his upcoming works. And he just finished another one of these promo videos. And so we're going to share that with you, and we're happy to have it. And Dorian is obviously working on, publishing some more of his sci-fi and, winning awards along the way. And so if Chris gives me the thumbs up, I think we'll be premiering this now here on our show. So enjoy, everybody, and let us know what you think.
My name is Irene Darris. I was the captain and first pilot of the siege ship Morningstar. Our mission? Bring a cargo of 8,000 unborn human embryos to the Helsea system and colonize one planet, Helsea 8K. We lost contact with the mothership Hope shortly after we separated from them. As the connection message icon turned red, I knew we were on our own. The journey was as calm as one would expect, but then, as we arrived around the planet's orbit, disaster struck. I was stranded in the cabin for days. I thought I was going to die in the cold of space, alone. Then, my knight in shining armor arrived. Adam, my co-pilot, he always had a creative side to him. And as he worked to free me from the prison the cabin had become, he told me that he had his finished book inside his backpack. Don't tell him, but I scrambled to find it as soon as he told me about its existence. That book, those stories, kept me sane. It helped me escape the reality, which was grim at times. Together as one, the entire crew helped us survive the catastrophe and safely land on the planet. And those stories, they still stand with me to this day. I read the originals. You can too, in your favorite format.
Dorian Key's Morning Star, book trailer 2021 debuting on our show. Thank you for that. That was really cool. Chris, what'd you think of that, man?
Really good. Hang on, I'm trying to get rid of the audio.
Okay.
I'll be echoing.
Well, yes. That was, man, right? A trailer for his work. And he was one of our original very first
interviews.
Yeah, definitely first author that came on the show, and he had been he'd actually won an award either I think at the time or soon after, and yeah, it was a privilege to have him on, and then we've actually had a couple of other things from him. So you're in for a treat, my friend. The Galactica was renamed. Yes, so Mediocre Modeler and John McCartney making some individual having some back and forth. Yeah, great. So
the Valley
Dorian
Forge and the
yeah.
Space Mutiny. So
yeah, exactly.
Space Mutiny.
Congratulations, Dorian. Thank you for sharing your trailer and
yes, it was amazing.
Your book
really
trailer.
It
was amazing, and we totally enjoyed that. So everybody knows where to tap into Amazon. I remember Dorian told us that he's done extremely well, way beyond anyone's expectations in the UK. So if you guys are fans that are actually watching the UK, if you don't know about Dorian, please look him up. He's actually doing very, very well there on Amazon.com, of course. And again, thanks, Dorian, for sharing that with us, making that was a premiere exclusive. And it's out there on YouTube if you want to watch it again. So, Chris, all good things, man.
Good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
We could, I said, we need to do that 24-hour stream.
Okay, so that's one of Chris Tipsy Toaster. I don't know if it's actually Chris's wish or the Tipsy Toaster's wish. And now I don't know if I should be. Oh, the Buddha came out. The Cylon Buddha came out. And yeah, oh no. So we may have to do one of those like marathons. So if we can get a bunch of you guys up and participate with the marathon, we will do that one day. We will have a marathon show. So hey, we've had a great time, and we had Rich Handley on. and that was awesome. It was like having one of the guys on. We had a really good time. And you know,
There's
he's
so
done
many
all
more
this.
stories that need to come
Yeah,
from
you
that.
say that again, man. We just like, that was a quick intro, and that was nothing, man. He's done so many other things, so we definitely want to revisit and talk more. I mean, you could see how we went from, you know, one franchise to the other, from one work to the other, and it was like seamless. That was awesome. We're definitely gonna have him back as soon as we can. Chris,
And a fountain of
my
knowledge as well.
oh heck yeah, man. So I'm gonna look up Commandy and see if
Never
that's
heard of
that
that one.
image.
That's
Yeah, I have, but I never, you know, I mean, this is just like he was saying, it's like stuck in your head, and you know, your perspective when you're younger, you know, it's just like an image. So I'm gonna track it down. But I'm just gonna thank everybody for tuning in, Chris.
yeah.
You know, we love to have you on board, all you guys that are watching live, and then of course
Hey, here you
in
go.
rerun syndication we have, you know, it goes into the thousands, and we appreciate it wherever you may be.
Hey, Pete.
Whether you're, yo,
Whoops, wrong one. Give me a second.
go ahead, what do you got? Oh, Dorian, thank you for having me in the show, Pete. Yeah, of course, man, come on. It's the whole idea, right? It was to premiere the book trailer, and it was awesome.
Awesome.
Very well done.
I can't say
Very
it like Pete
impressive,
does.
man.
Pete says awesome, but
Yeah, because you know,
it's another level of awesomeness.
Chris, again, I don't know if I should be referring to you as Chris or the Tipsy Toaster. I don't know which
Triple
one of you,
T.
but I think it's it's Chris grew up in a faraway land
Called
where,
Wyoming.
yeah. I'm sorry about that, Chris. So anyway, in the real world, it's awesome. And Dorian, thank you for sharing that with us, and we really appreciate doing that premiere. And lots of luck to you. We're gonna have you back on the show. We'll talk more about, you know, your work. And Jeff Walter says, always a great show. Another fantastic show from John. Syndication, you know, it goes all over. We got fans in Brazil and Argentina and Chile, Canada,
and a bunch of
Philippines, Vietnam, Australia, and Germany, UK, which we've mentioned before, and everywhere else, guys, all over the United States. We really appreciate you tuning in. A lot of you actually watch us in rerun in syndication, which is fantastic. We love it. Don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Continue to give us those likes. And if you want to contact us, our email is info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. Stay safe and see you at our next show. Keep the faith. And remember, from me, New York Pete, fans fuel the fleet. And thank you very much. Chris?
Thanks once again. We appreciate you. Once again, it's the fans that keep the shows running. The fans that keep people making more stories. Otherwise, they're not going to make any money. So it's all about you. So fans fuel the fleet. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. All the best.
Yep. I would need to put this on the other side.